Welcome back, everybody. We're back together with another video. One of the most iconic lines in movie history is, "No, I am your father." That was the words of Darth Vader to Luke Skywalker in The Empire Strikes Back, when Vader reveals that he is actually Luke's father. Now, the voice of Darth Vader was the legendary James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones passed away, I believe today. At least that's when the news is actually coming down. Passed away at the age of 93. And we're talking about an absolute legend. I mean, I always believed that he was more important to the Vader role than the person in the suit. I mean, how do you actually feel about that?
I like his voice.
His voice is very, very strong.
Yes. And when he played Darth Vader, the voice is real strong. It just really feel fear.
Yeah, it was a terrifying voice. Did you ever actually hear David Prowse is the one that mainly played him in the suit? There's actually clips out there of David Prowse using the voice, because when he would actually act as Darth Vader, he would actually recite the lines. And his voice sounded not menacing at all.
Yeah. And I think he was also in the movie Coming to America.
Coming to America as King Jappy Joffer. Oh, man, he was great in that movie.
Yeah, and
Great.
he's funny.
My son, what? I almost sound like him.
Yeah.
When he finds out that
real
his son
funny.
It's so funny, man. That's one of Eddie Murphy's most funniest movies. And James Earl Jones played the King of Zamunda. But also, how can I forget this? They list several movies he's in. Conan the Barbarian. Remember, he was Thulsa Doom, the villain. He was terrifying in that movie.
Yeah.
When he turned into the snake. I mean, James Earl Jones is just a legend.
I just feel like whenever he played role, his voice sounds like that role. For example, he played as a king in Coming to America, and he does sounds like he's a king.
Yeah, it's every movie he seems to have played in, because of his voice, he couldn't be like really taking orders from someone else.
Yeah.
Like he was the king in Coming to America. Thulsa Doom, of course, he was the leader of that cult. And Darth Vader kneeled before no one, and except to the Emperor.
Yeah, and he does real songs.
He had a very commanding voice.
Yeah, his voice is more, I should say, is very strong.
Very, very strong. Very strong. I was just about to say, he was in Field of Dreams. I forgot about that. Now, Field of Dreams, that's a sports movie. It's one of the best sports movies of all time, where he actually didn't play an authoritative figure, but he was great in that movie too as well. He was in this movie also called Fences back in, I believe that was in the 70s. He was also a stage actor too. He played Mustafa in The Lion King for Disney. I believe the new one, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not a big Lion King fan, but he was in that as well. It does mention him. That's right. He did play Othello. He played Shakespeare. The man was just super multi-talented.
Yes.
Multi-talented. But do you know that in the Obi-Wan show, that was not him doing the voice of Darth Vader? Did you know that?
Kind of. Yeah.
What had happened was James Earl Jones signed a contract at Disney to where they can actually use his voice through AI going forward. So we're going to hear the quote-unquote voice of James Earl Jones if Disney decides to do anything else, Darth Vader. So his voice is going to live on. And I remember Rogue One, he actually did the voice of Vader, and it sounded old. And I think that was one of the criticisms of that movie. But the movie was overall good. He sounded like he was in his 80s because he was. Now, when he actually did a small role in Revenge of the Sith, remember when Vader was coming off the operating table? That was his voice. But, you know, that was 20 years ago. So he was in his early 70s. So his voice really didn't change that much.
Yes, when he say no.
Yeah, the no was not the best, but that was more on George Lucas.
I
But
feel he's very emotional when he say no.
yeah, it was no.
Yes.
It was something like that. A lot of people didn't like that.
I like it. It's really emotional where you can feel his really painful.
Yeah,
Real sad, real pain.
I understand why people didn't like it, but I understand why George put it in there because, you know, that is Anakin really just transforming really to the dark side. That's the first time he's in a suit. He's still very, very emotional, and he just lost Padme.
Yes.
So there was a lot of Anakin still in him.
Yeah, the voice, the scene, and his suit, it's just really, in that scene, it really suit. The voice of his son really suit that all his anger, emotion, pain,
Yeah.
everything.
Now that was James Earl Jones in Star Wars Rebels. That was his voice. He did do the voice. I believe he's going to be best known for portraying Darth Vader. I believe that's going to be his most famous role because there's been many people in the Vader suit. Most people know David Prowse. Hayden Christensen was actually the one in the suit in Revenge of the Sith, and also, you know, part of the Obi-Wan show. But nobody really remembers the other people in the suit. People remember the voice.
Yes, I remember him as Darth Vader and the King coming into
King
America.
Jaffe Joffer and man, Thulsa Doom. I love Conan the Barbarian. That's the three movies that I remember him most in. Of course, Field of Dreams also as well. That was another movie too. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. But man, a legend is truly gone. There won't be anyone else like him. Because George Lucas actually knew that he was not going to use David Prowse's voice for Darth Vader. He was actually thinking about Orson Welles, but I'm glad that he didn't use Orson Welles because I can't imagine anyone else portraying the voice of Vader besides James Earl Jones. I remember actually having a Star Wars video game. This was like in the 90s, and they used another voice actor to do Vader's voice. Yeah, kind of sounded like him, but it really wasn't. You can tell. Nobody can do Vader like James Earl Jones. He is the voice of Vader. Gonna leave it right there, guys. Sad day, man, but 93 years old, man. That's a good run, right? That is a pretty good run. We'll be back tomorrow with another video, guys. Until then, be safe.
Goodbye.